and welcome to Saturday Night Crafting. Tonight I've got this really awesome card. It's a new kind of fun fold and it's super simple and easy, and I'm going to share with you how to do it. We're going to do the step-by-step instructions so that you can work it out yourself. Getting started, I did some shopping. I'm sorry, I can't resist these paper pads. I also saw this stamp set and it's really cute and tiny, so I got that as well, and I'm going to use them because I want to buy stuff and make sure I use it. This is all from Paper Boutique, and I really love their papers. If you've watched my videos, whenever I use designer papers, it is always these guys. They are cheap and they are cheerful and they're just so good, and they coordinate really nice, and they have these new ones and they are all gorgeous. So they do different tones. They've got some pinks, purples, they've got the neutrals, I think they have browns, and they all have the same patterns on them. So you can kind of mix and match them, which is so cool. So they've got sort of the elements papers, which is this bundle. They've got the decorative papers, which was the other one. And then they've got the neutral sort of plain papers that you can use as backing papers. They are paper. They're 160 GSM, so they're not very thick. But this is my latest obsession that I keep buying. I can't help myself, and I've bought more. They do rainbow colors now. Those are on their way. I can't wait. I've got A4 bundles of rainbow colors. So here's the black and white ones. I restrained myself. I got the black and white and I got the pink. I had the purple and one other one in my basket, but I put them back. So you can see the papers are the exact same. So you could die cut them and inlay them and they'd look so cool. They also have a Christmas one, and I'm using all of them tonight, which is why I'm showing them with you. I really, really like this paper range. Craft Stash sell it and scrapbook.com sell it. So I'll put those links down below for you so you can find them if you do want them. But do use what you have in your stash. I bet you've got loads like me. Okay, so the card base we're starting with is a 5-inch square. I've got two of them here, both of them 5 by 5 inches when they're folded. And what we're going to do is we're going to place one inside the other. So we're going to cut one of them down to measure 4 7/8 square. So I'm just taking 1/8 of an inch off both sides there. And now it can fit inside my card and tuck nicely. So once we've got that base cut down 1/8 of an inch smaller, we're going to go ahead and fold it backwards. So we've got our one card upside down inside the other one. We've not glued anything. We're going to fold back that layer to line up with itself. So we're basically folding that side in half. And what you'll get is this sort of little accordion looking type fold, like so. Really simple, really easy, not difficult at all. We're going to end up gluing that on the inside, but first we need to do some die cutting and making our sort of front of our card. So that's the base of our card. So two 5-inch square cards. The one of them we're going to cut down to 4 7/8. So I'm getting my paper pads out because I want to use these. I've got my backing piece and my little topper piece. The backing piece we're going to cut down to 4 3/4. 4 7/8. By 4 7/8, and then this bit, the sort of decorative one, we're going to cut to 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Again, I'll put all the measurements in the description box, so you can just click down there. You don't need to worry about writing it down right now. You can just find it in there. Then we're going to glue them together, and I'm using liquid glue, and that you kind of want to use a liquid glue or a glue stick or something because we're going to die cut out the middle, so you really want it to be stuck down all over. You don't want the die cut area to be popping open. I'm using my Nestibles for every card today. I've got the huge range of them in all different kinds of shapes, and I will link the general link for them down below. They are from Craft Stash. They're a nice layering die set. And all I'm going to do is take one of my circles and cut out the center of our little square panel that's going to be the front of our card. So there's my center cut out. I've just eyeballed it. I don't really like to measure. I'm a bit lazy that way. Now here's our front card. This is not the one that we folded, and it is the 5-inch square one. It's not cut down at all. You take your top panel that we've just cut, line it up so you've got your beautiful 1/8 of an inch around all the edges, and then you pop your die back in. This is the easiest way I found to do it, least messy. So I'm popping the die in and tracing around it. We're not going to use the center of that die cut, and the die cutting blade is on the outside edge, so we don't have to worry about that pencil line. It's going to disappear with our die cut. So I've traced around it. Now I can line up the die cut again into the center of that, and then I can go ahead and die cut it out in my die cutting machine. So when I taped on the circle to that front panel, I made sure the tape goes on the inside. This one doesn't matter as much because we're going to cover up the outside edge, but sometimes when you run tape through, you get this sort of tape ridge showing on the front of your panel. So you kind of want to make sure you get your tape on the inside of that circle for this panel that we're gluing down now. This bit's dead simple. Just line up the circle holes together and it should all matchy very, very nicely. And then because we put liquid glue on, it's not going to pop open in that center piece. So now we can go ahead and glue that panel into the center of our card, and it's the same as the front. You've got about 1/8 of an inch on all sides to be able to line it up and wiggle it around. If you're using liquid glue, it gives you a bit of wiggle room as well. And make sure you've got this bit facing the right direction, so that little flappy is coming down, not going up. I like to use my bone folder to go ahead and press down that glue to make sure it's spreading around nicely and beautifully, and I'm not got a lumpy card at all. And so that's all I'm doing here, is just kind of spreading it around. And there's our little card base ready to go, and we can decorate the outside a little bit and the inside. So I'm using my torn edge Nestibles. Again, you could just use the next size up of your circle die, which I'm moving there to the left because I decided I wanted a funkier pattern. So that's the small die that we cut out the center, and all I'm doing is making myself a beautiful little border to kind of decorate that circle a bit. You don't need to do this bit, you can just leave it as is. I just wanted a little bit of a border. So I found some glitter, pink glitter cardstock in my stash, and I made myself a border with that. Then I took a die that was much bigger. It's next level down and the next level down, but in the solid circles. Now, of course, when you're crafting on Saturday night, make sure you've got your drink, whatever your drink of choice may be. Mine is red wine, and I should have it in a sippy cup because I'm known for knocking it over my desk, but never mind. Well, all we're going to do now is just adhere that front circle down to the front of the card and line it up. Again, it's a nice simple circle, so it's easy. Now this back panel bit, the one we're creating that's going to go inside, as long as your die, that base die, is much bigger than that front circle, you won't have any problems lining up. It'll make it so much easier. If you want the front one to poke through, the back one to poke through the front, you're going to really struggle with getting it lined up absolutely perfectly. I just found this much easier, so I just go for much bigger, and then it's so much easier. You'll see what I mean in a second. Now I wanted to decorate the background of this little die of the circle that I'm doing here, and I wanted it to be sort of tying in with the theme, but I didn't want it to be overwhelming. So all I'm doing is cutting myself another smaller circle out of my post-it note paper, and you saw me just a minute ago making sure that my 2 stamps, happy and birthday, lined up inside that smaller die. So now I can go and place my little panel here inside. You'll see my samples at the end when I've done a few more cards. You really don't need to do this step. I just wanted to have a bit more fun with this stamp and do a bit more creative stuff. So I'm going to use these 2 ink pads from Alina's shop, and I'm going to use the light pink for the background, and I'm going to use a dark pink for the words. And so all I'm doing is just simply making a decorative little background area on my little panel that I'm going to place in the middle, which has my sentiment. So really easy. You could just do a smaller circle, and then you don't need to stamp some decorative edging, or you could just stamp off the edge. I mean, there's just so many possibilities. This is just what I felt like doing. So there's my little topper that's going to go in the center of my card. And I'm going to come in and do the edges. I've got these Daubers from Craft Stash, and I've been trying to work out the triangles because I'm like, well, your finger doesn't really go in a triangle very easily, your round finger in a triangle. However, I have discovered they're great to hold. They're really nice to hold. You get a really good grip with the triangle. You can hold it beautifully. You'll see in just a second how beneficial that triangle tip is. Oh my days, I had no idea until I was doing the rest of the cards, so you're going to see a sneak peek in a second. I'm going to share with you what makes these little triangle ones actually quite cool. So I'm going to stick that on the topper, and we're going to come back to this card in a second. So here's a heart. This is coming up in one of the next samples I'm going to share with you at the end. Check out the little corner. It goes in that groove. How many times have we used a dauber or a brush and we can't bloom and get in there? Oh, now I think Craft Stash is a genius. At first I was like, come on, triangle for my round finger. But look at this, here on the star, again, straight into the corner. It allows you to get in the corners if you want to ink the edges of these shapes. So here's a round one from the same set. You can see to get in that corner, it makes quite a mess. So that's what the point of these are, I think. I think I've worked it out, so I'm really excited about them. Anyways, back to the card. I'm going to line up the center of my card. I'm going to get all lined up where I want it to be. and then I'm just going to lie the card flat. Now I can then just hold it while I lift the top up because I can put my finger through the hole. Now I'm going to take a pencil and mark the back of it very carefully, just a small mark, so I know where my glue is going to go. So this is a little bit longer video because I wanted to really break it down for you so you don't get too confused, and I really hope you aren't getting confused. Sometimes I get so excited, I talk really fast and I miss parts. So please drop me a comment if I am forgetting anything to mention for you. This tape, by the way, is stuff that I buy from AliExpress. It's post-it note tape or low tack tape, and that's all I'm using. I'll link that down below for you. There's mint tape on scrapbook.com that works just the same. Really easy. So we can see our lines there. I'm going to make sure to apply glue just above that line, and then I know that I'm sticking it down to the bottom of the card. So I'm going to fold it shut, and that post-it note tape has just held it in place for me so I could lift it up and keep it in the exact place I want it to be. Then I can just peel that off, and now it's stuck. Perfect. Bob's your uncle. Done. It's great. When I did this, I was like, oh, that's really effective, and that was really easy. I didn't expect it to be quite so simple and easy to make, but it worked out really well and really smoothly. And now you've got this cute little pull-out card where you can write your message on the inside. So of course I did some more. So this is using the opposite colors, but the same paper. So on the black, I went and put a little white liner on the inside so you could write in it. I've done some black glitter for the heart, and behind it's hard to see the glitter. And then I use some glossy accents on that center heart. It's only half dry, so when it's fully dry, it'll be completely clear. But again, that one just pulls out. And you've got the same pattern on the outside as the inside because the paper is the exact same, which I thought was really fun. So here's the butterfly one. I did it with some holographic card, and I forgot the white insert on the inside, so I'll do that in a bit. Holographic card, again, is from Rainbow Card, one of my favorite shops in the UK, and they do ship internationally, which is quite fun. They sent me a message saying, oh, we have an order in Canada. I thought that was quite cool. Anyways, these are my finished cards. I did 5 in total. I wanted to keep going, but my kids were really pestering me to come and hang out, so I had to stop. So yes, these are all the cards. I hope you had a fun time. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to read a comment from you. I'm really sorry if I don't reply to all of them, but I am reading them all. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again on Wednesday. Bye!